Hello, good people, and thank you so much for checking out my channel. I'm Kina, and so we're gonna go over Real Housewives of New Jersey, the episode that aired earlier this week. This is season 12. Yeah, girl. Yeah, guys, we've been dealing with this cast for a long time, especially Teresa and her family. So this is season 12, episode 5, and the title of this particular episode is Jersey Shore Showdown, right? All right, so we start this episode off with Teresa. We see her pulling off in her strange color Range Rover. I love a Range Rover. I want one. Thinking about it. I don't want that car payment. I'm really thinking about it though, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, the color she has, guys, I can't say it's rose gold, but it's a weird color. It don't look good. I mean, she need to change the color on there. I guess maybe she was trying to be different, but you know how people try to be so different until they just completely wrong, and she was wrong for that. My opinion, of course, because I'm not paying that lady's bill. But anyway, it's my opinion, and that's what I thought about her Range Rover. It's an ugly color. So we see her spinning off in a Range Rover. She's upset with production. She had previously received a call from Louis, her now fiance, stating that he didn't want to film or something like that. There have been bringing up things about of this retreat that he used to go on, that and maybe he still go on them with some of his guy friends, and it's like a a brotherhood where the guys go on a retreat and they confess to their wrongdoings. And on this particular video, Louis is confessing to his woman at the time that was not Teresa, his love for her and being apologetic. And he was also proposing to her marriage, right? So he don't want to talk about that on the show, and he's saying he don't want to film. And so Teresa, she storms off, after getting into it with the producers about it. So we have where everyone later on, they show up to Jennifer's house because that's where they're going to have her vacation home. This is where they're going to have the barbecue for the night. It's going to be at Jennifer's house. So we see everyone that's coming over, where they're getting dressed and putting on their makeup and everything, coming over to Jennifer's house. And as they get there, Jennifer, she lets everyone know that Teresa had left earlier and she's not sure if she's going to come back, that she stormed off. And they're trying to find out, why did she storm off? And Jennifer's like, she don't really know what happened. And she was saying she thinks that it had something to do with Louis. And so of course the girls, they're all chatting about, well, she should know that he's going to have to be part of the show, and he needs to explain that video, because that's just the way it is. He needs to explain it or whatever. So after a while, we have Teresa and Louis. They actually do show up at the cookout, and when they get there, one of the ladies bring up talking about the elephant in the room or whatever. And so Melissa, and Teresa's like, what elephant? What are you guys talking about? And so Melissa, she lets it be known that Jennifer had explained to them once they arrived to the cookout that Teresa had stormed off earlier, that she spent off. And so they wanted to know what that was all about. And so Teresa, she's just like, anything that's dealing with Louis, if it's something from his past, it's not something that needs to be talked about, that they only need to talk about the present. And why does it even matter? She gets all into a rage about why it even matters. Girl, you're on a reality show, and you already know. If it was anyone else besides Teresa, she would have been dug it up, and she would have been put it out there even before the season even started, because she's messy boots like that. So I don't know why she's trying to act brand new now that it's her turn with the new man on scene. So she wants to act like he don't have to talk about anything that happened prior to now. Yeah, he do. He need to explain that, because that's part of the show, and you would have did the same thing if it was the other way around. And so she's pretty much talking to Marge, getting on Marge's case about it, because she's saying Marge is the person who brought this whole video thing up, which it could be true. And Marge, of course, she's doing her job. That's what she's on the show for. Don't we know, even from Atlanta Housewives, Kenya broke it down. That's her job. They are castmates. That's what they're on there for. And it would be, Marge would not deserve to be on the show if she could not keep help, if she would not be stirring up the mess. And as I said before, this is something that Teresa definitely would have done herself if it was the other way around. So Louis, he's just like sitting there and he's like, well, I can tell you. What is it? What do you want to know? And Teresa's still talking over him, yelling at Marge like it's nobody's business. He does not have to explain himself to anybody. He could just not say anything about it. And he's like, no, but I want to. And Teresa, she's still going on and on, her and Marge. And Marge was like, well, everybody was asking about it. Everyone wants to know. It's something that's on the internet. All of this kind of crazy, just chatter. So anyway, Louis, he turns and he says, okay, well, I'm going to leave. If you're not going to let me talk, I'm going to leave. You need to listen. That's what he's telling Teresa. And then, he really shuts her down the way he said it and everything. It was very disrespectful if you ask me. But he pretty much told her she needed to shut the hell up. Let him speak, right? And then someone was like, oh, don't leave. And he said, well, that's the only way she's going to learn because she's not listening if I leave. So, okay, he's trying to give you a teachable moment, girl. He teaching you? What? Anyway, so that happened. And then Teresa sitting there looking stupid, but she shut up, right? And so he tell Marge that on her best day, on Marge's best day, she could not intimidate him. And I'm like, how's she trying to intimidate you? She's just asking you to explain those videos that's out there. And so he goes on and he tells them that it was a time that he didn't want to commit. He did not want to marry this person. And he was just apologizing for not being ready and able to commit to her. And they was like, what? In their confessionals, I don't know why they didn't bring it up, or maybe they did and it got edited out because they want to drag this story on or something. But in the confessionals, the ladies were saying that's not the video they were referring to. The video they saw, it was where he was proposing to the girl. Like he was begging to be with this woman. But the way he's explaining it, he's saying that it's a video where he was only apologizing for not being able to commit to that particular woman at that time. So I don't know what video it is. I really don't even care. But that's what happened on the show. So they had that little tidbit going on. And then we get to the point about Joe saying something about telling Teresa that, of course, it's something somebody's going to gossip about because everyone gossips. And then Joe, which is Teresa's brother, he brings up about even Jennifer, Teresa's good friend, had gossip about him, saying that he was a crook, which was like really low down and dirty. She shouldn't have said that. And how Teresa never stood up for him or said anything to Jennifer about it, And so Jennifer, she wants to start saying she was only making comments about Joe because of the things Melissa had already posted about her. They had like a little Twitter war going on last season or whatever. So Jennifer and Melissa, they were going back and forth saying their little things. And then Jennifer even said that not only did Melissa post something, that her little bitch, her little bitch husband, what she called him? I wrote it down somewhere. What did she? Oh, the little bitch girl. So she called him a bitch girl. First of all, little bitch girl. So that's three words she hit Joe with, Melissa's brother. So it's pretty kind of low. Jennifer, she could be funny, even though I don't care for her, but she says a lot of things that's pretty funny. She's comical. So when she said that, that really hit Melissa and Joe. But Melissa got up and she got up in her face and they started their arguing or whatever. And I don't know who hand moved first because it was going pretty fast. And I had oxtails to eat earlier and I kind of got the itis, so I wasn't really paying attention. But I just know that they were throwing hands in front of each other's face. And somebody grabbed somebody's hand. So I don't know who did what first. And then I saw the security people stepping up to the plate. So it's like it was really about to get physical. It's crazy. Oh, and then before all of that had started up, as far as Melissa and Jennifer, after Louis had explained his video, Teresa started saying that Marge is always digging up stuff. She's always doing this and that. And that she even said some nasty things. She dug up some stuff and said some nasty things about Jennifer, because Marge is the one who brought up about Jennifer's husband Aiden cheating on her. And so Marge was like, I was just trying to let you guys let you guys know that me and Aiden, and he was sitting there between Marge and Jennifer. He's sitting there in between those two women, not saying a damn thing. And she said that Marge said that her and Aiden were like the same people. They both had affairs. I'm like, oh my God, why would she say that in front of him? This is something that happened like 10 years ago. Hers happened a long time ago too, but it was so crazy. But that man, he didn't say nothing. He stayed quiet. You could tell he just wanted to like poof, be invisible or just vanish, not even be there. He didn't even care to be there. He didn't say nothing. And then fast forward to Melissa and Jennifer getting into it. While they were getting into it, we had a security trying to come separate them. It seems that Joe, Melissa's husband, even came forward, and we see Teresa stand up. She ain't saying nothing, but she's sitting there with a little grin on her face, like this is something she wants to happen. She don't care for Melissa anyway, and that's her sister-in-law. So everybody, it seems other people are getting involved, trying not to have a fight happen. But Aiden didn't do anything. He stepped to the side. He didn't utter a word. He was nowhere trying to get his wife to calm her down so she won't be a fool on this TV. Because remember, Aiden, y'all do have kids at home that will watch this. So you want your kids to see your wife getting into it with another woman. So you already did the most awful thing. You cheated on her. So it's already out there. And then you're not even coming to aid your woman. He was off to the side. Looked like he was about to go walk down the shore or something. I don't know. So they settled down. They didn't go anywhere with that little fight. All right. But the next morning, well, back up. Told you guys I have oxtails earlier, so I'm dealing with the itis here. But before the next morning, when they were getting all, Jennifer told Melissa to leave her house. So it's like everyone that came to the cookout with Melissa, they had left too. So we have Marge leaving, her and her husband. We have Melissa and Joe, and then we have Tiki and her husband. They all get in the van together, which I don't understand because it looked like Tiki and them had drove up in separate cars. Or maybe Tiki drove up in a separate car. I don't know. Maybe because they're drinking, they have them all to travel back to the next house together. So it won't be, nothing out there since they all had drinks, I guess. So anyway, when they were getting in the van or whatever, Melissa, she even made a comment about Bill Aiden not even coming to Jennifer's side and said that he's pretty much checked out the relationship, like he's sick of her. So we'll see where that goes with that comment. That was pretty low. And Melissa, she goes ahead and she texts Teresa because Teresa didn't come with them. She didn't even say nothing. She continued to stay at the house with Jennifer. So it's like she's taking Jennifer's side. And so Teresa, she texts Melissa texts Melissa texts Teresa about not being there for her and everything. And so Teresa's like, well, she replied to her text and she said, well, she was going to get that taken care of and that she want both of them to be okay with each other because she's her sister-in-law, she's her only family or whatever, and Jennifer is her friend. So she wants them to hash that out. And you still ain't saying nothing to Jennifer about her saying some low down dirty stuff, calling your brother a crook. Whatever, Teresa. So the next morning, of course, they show everybody's talking about the party. But the main thing was that Jennifer, she got onto Aiden's ass, so now coming to her aid when she got into it with Melissa at the house. Like I said before, he didn't do nothing. They even showed him running up the stairs to, be to himself to the kitchen or whatever. Just running like Chicken Little. I don't know. And so his only defense was that it would have turned into a physical fight if he would have stepped in. But Aiden, you didn't even say nothing. He didn't say, hey, guys, that's enough. You didn't say nothing. You didn't say stop. Nothing. So, but he says that if he would have got involved in physical and he didn't want to turn to physical, okay, whatever. So then we find out later on that Jennifer's not going to go to Melissa's pink party. She was like, she's not going back to her house. So she decides not to go. She's going to turn her day into a family day. So her kids are going to come back. They had went somewhere with a nanny, but they're going to come back and they just do something at the house. And then, of course, Teresa had spent the night at Jennifer's house. So we see her and Louis there getting dressed and getting ready to go. And they head over to Melissa. And the setup is kind of cute, whatever. I'm kind of bored of Melissa, too. I don't know why she's been on for so long. Like Teresa, Melissa, they need to recast. A new cast, please, Bravo, please, please. Can we get a new cast, please? It's got there have to be more people in Jersey. Come on, Jersey people, stand up. All right, so at at Melissa pink party, of course everybody's talking about the night before. So. And Jackie's just making her point about her comment she made regarding Bill sticking his D in everybody, that he shouldn't be doing that, and that she didn't say that as something to attack Jennifer. She said it to defend Jennifer. Like, he's in the wrong, and it's nothing that Jennifer should feel bad about and not be blaming herself. So that's why she made that statement, and it was nothing for Dolores to try to blow out of proportion, because that was the only reason why she made the statement. So then we have Teresa and Joe. They talk about the situation with Jennifer, as far as Jennifer calling him a crook, and Joe says she should have stood up for him. That's her only brother. I would have spoke up too, like, hey, even if my brother was a crook, if he was doing something wrong, of course I'm not going to condone it, but I would not sit around and just let you talk about my sibling like that. That's not cool. I don't care if it was my only sibling. I could have 20 siblings. You're not going to talk about him and disgrace his name like that. If he's a crook, he's disgracing his name anyway, right? But you're not going to be my close friend and do that. Nah, especially if I'm not doing it. You're not going to do it. So, and then Teresa, she wants to spin it around on Joe and say, well, you're friends with Marge, and Marge did this, you know, like, Teresa. And Joe was like, what has Marge done? And she was like, well, she's bringing up Louis' past. Marge ain't done nothing to you, Teresa, period. And I watched another channel, and they were saying that Marge is hating on Teresa. I don't think Marge is hating on Teresa. I could see Marge not liking Teresa. There was a couple of seasons ago when Danielle Staub, I want to say, she came back to the show, maybe as a friend of, but they were showing her a lot. And on one episode, they were out shopping. It was Marge, Teresa, Melissa, I believe, Danielle, and some other people. Teresa whispered to Danielle, because Marge and Danielle had been having some type of tiff about something. I don't remember exactly, but I remember that Teresa was the person that urged Danielle to pull that lady's hair. She was wearing a ponytail, and Teresa had her to pull her ponytail, like yank her head back, you know, and that could have really caused a big fight with somebody pulling your hair. And it was a big thing about it. And Teresa tried to lie about it, but Danielle did admit that Teresa was the person who told her to pull her hair. You know, so I don't blame Marge for not liking Teresa. And the things that Teresa do and what she say, they don't make sense. And on one of the other channels, I think it was on Sherelle's World, there was a person saying that Melissa does not stand up for Teresa, and Teresa, her sister-in-law. Just because that's your sister-in-law does not mean you have to go along with her, especially when she's wrong. If she's wrong, nah, ain't nobody condoning that at all. Nah. So I didn't agree with any of that, but it was entertaining. All right, so that was the Real Housewives of New Jersey. We'll see what happens next week. We're just at, episode 5, and I'm quite sure they got a lot that they're going to put out there. So I'll be checking it out unless it's something else that comes up. Thank you guys so much once again, and I'll talk to you later. Have a great night.